Everyone's time to chew.
All right, we're live.
All right. Thank you all very much for being here. I am Allison Haynes, the Director of Parks and Recreation, and this is the Recreation Advisory Board's meeting. Carol Peterson was our previous chair and has stepped down. We've not gone through the process. We will be going through the process to elect a new chair. In the meantime, for today's meeting, I'll just be leading the meeting going forward. And so I just want to thank everybody for being here. And if we could quickly just go around and say your name and what districts you represent so that we know who's present, and we'll hear with you.
I'm Kevin Connerton, and I represent the Southwest. Just basically the project manager for Boston County Parks.
And Anna Carson, we have from District 3. Ingrid Johnson, don't remember the number, but what's that?
Liz Hookwater, Recreation Operations Manager.
Bobby Scott, I'm not on the advisory board, I'm the president of the Western County Discount Association, so I work with a lot of these kind of places.
Their turnover.
Reserves Parks and Council.
Thank you all so much. I believe when the agenda was sent out, the minutes from this meeting were in that agenda. Hoping everyone had the opportunity to go through those. Looking for motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. And then all in favor?
Right.
Any opposed? Great, so we'll jump right in. And the director's report is what we'll start out with. So what I wanted to do is I did a presentation to the Board of Commissioners last week. And I wanted to go through that with you all for anyone who may not have seen it at that time. It's kind of a high level park status of where we are in terms of parks that are open, parks that are closed, and projects that will open. So just wanted to get that started. Basically, overall, I wanted to let everyone know that starting in October, all park staff did what were called park assessments. And basically what we did is we did a series of walkthroughs where we looked at every single portion, nook and cranny of all parks, took pictures and did assessments of what was broken, what was damaged, where washouts existed. And we did these several times. The initial assessment was just with park staff where we took tons of pictures. This one where all the trees were there. Most of our parks were inaccessible. Since that time, we have also done assessments with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And we've done what's called damage inventory. This is the first step and working with FEMA to get reimbursed for damages that may have occurred. Those damage assessments also go through our personal insurance because we have insurance policies, just so that you all know the way that damages work when it comes to these types of hurricane issues is anything that we had within the park system that were insured under our insurance policy, buildings or different types of things, those go through insurance first. If insurance accepts it, then we get reimbursed based that way. If they say no, then those expenses are then eligible for FEMA. FEMA will not reimburse anything that is considered insured. So we've been going through that process, identifying short and long-term projects open. Really, the big thing is vegetative and construction debris removal. Everybody talks about how we're in recovery. The park system is still very much in response, and that all of our parks are not yet completely cleared out. We're working on that. Tree assessments were completed in all of our parks. As you know, hundreds and hundreds of trees lost throughout our park system and or damaged. And so at every single park property that we had an arborist come out and do a risk assessment of trees. all trees that were considered high risk or imminent danger trees that were still standing were removed before opening any park. And so these tree assessments will be done probably on a biannual basis in the future so that we're ensuring the health of our trees and the safety of our parks throughout. All of the damage that has occurred in fencing throughout our park system has either been completely fixed or are in the process of being fixed. POs, all the money has been encumbered for those damages, and so all of our fencing will be going up. We've already started hydro seeding in some of our priority park locations. I'll let Joseph do a little bit more conversation about what that looks like, but that's really to help keep things intact where they are now. Wanted to let you know a very important thing that is re-kicked off. In April, we met with our consulting team and the system-wide master plan for Parks and Recreation that was paused in October has re-kicked off. So we are just now restarting that. Just for your information, what that means is we have asked our consultants to go back and give us an amendment contract because they were at the stage where we were getting ready to present all the findings of our master plan. But as we know, the hurricane has drastically changed the needs and the makeup of our park system and of our community. And so we have added scope for them to now go back out and re-engage with community to say, post Hurricane Helene, what are our park needs now? And so what that has done is it's going to extend our park master planning process for at least 9 to 12 months as we re-engage with community and then have a comprehensive plan. Some of those things might also include what is known as HMGP properties, which are any of the land that may be obtained through the hazard mitigation program. For those of you that are not aware, if your house was flooded in such a manner, you have several choices about what you can do. FEMA will help assist to either raise that house up so that it meets all the floodplain requirements, or you can choose to move it, or you can choose to sell it. And any of those properties that get sold may come to Buncombe County as a piece of property that is no longer able to be developed, but may have other potential uses, which include things like parks and open space.
Does it?
It depends if it is in an incorporated area, the location that is incorporated has first priority. So they can say, yep, we want that piece of property, or they could say, no, we don't. And then I don't know the way that municipalities gauge if they want it or not. I don't know.
But this Buncombe County purchase the property, or is it?
No, it's given to us and then it's maintained in perpetuity. Good question.
So Allison, Wananoa is not a municipality. So anything along the Wananoa River that was bought out possibly.
May come to the county.
May come to the county.
Correct. Yeah. And there's a whole process for evaluating that and what that looks like, and that's going to be a multi-year process. That is not something that is going to be known in 6 months. It's gonna take a long time, but I think the master plan is gonna identify kind of like priority types of places that would make good fitting for our department.
Are there already people or corporations that have said maybe?
Yeah, my understanding is that people have submitted applications. I don't know that any applications, I don't know how many applications have been fully processed and have been assigned either to rebuild or sell. Promising, so there's potential for sure.
It's in the city limits, when you go to the city.
City gets priority over that.
But the city and county are working on master plans.
Yes,
Does the city also, are they creating a Parks and Rec master plan over the county?
so they have a master plan. Their master plan actually got approved by the city. I believe it was either the end of August or beginning of September. And so their master planning process was completed. I do not know, if they're looking to make amendments. I would imagine, but I can't speak.
The two, everybody's not aware, like, the two have agreed upon these things like, master plan or greenway.
Yes, yep. Yep. Speaking of greenways, that's a good segment. We, again, I believe we had spoken with you all last time that, the NCDOT, North Carolina Department of Transportation, had paused all of our greenway projects. We have, 3 greenway projects with the NCDOT. The Woodfin Greenway is actually split up into 2. There's the Highway 251 section and the Beaver Dam Creek section, and then the Inca Heritage Trail. Those were all suspended by the state until they had time to assess where they were at as a state and what their priorities were. They did that. They came back and let us know in February that we were approved to move forward. They acknowledged that they knew that we would need amended scopes, that based on the hurricane, that proposed alignments may need additional surveys, geotechnical, hydraulics, and outreach. And so we'll be submitting amendments to them, but they haven't informed us that there's no additional funds for those amendments, though they are aware that they're needed. And so the county will be working with our consultants to obtain amended scopes based on damage assessments of each of the alignments that we will then turn in for approval to the NCDOT, so that we can resume. So a timeline for this will be updated once we have all of those assessments back. I can tell you that from 3 of our consultants, we have 1 assessment that has come back and has been submitted to the NCDOT for approval. That is the Highway 251 section. And so we're waiting on the Beaver Dam Creek section and the Inca Heritage Trail in order for those to be submitted and approved. Once the NCDOT approves them, then they go through the county approval process where the county has to agree to that. And then that's when we'll ensure that the funds for those assessments are included. The sports park, this is good news. Turf and lighting project is in design. I'm gonna let Joseph give you a little bit more information about that, but we're excited because we do have a projected spring opening for these turf fields. As you know, JBL was lost. We lost those turf fields, and so turf fields are out of grading. So we're very excited that the sports park project has been continuing and is still on time. And then also wanted to let you know that we've put an RFQ, or a request for qualifications, out into community for the Owen Park, and that's for the engineering and design of that park. That park was highly impacted. I'll show you some pictures here in just a moment. That's a high level overview. A lot of people have been asking about river parks. And so this is a comprehensive list of the 7 river parks that the county is in control of. You'll see that the only one that is fully open is Cochrane Page River Park. All of the other river parks are being used as toll sites, and I'll explain what that is in just a minute. And then Hominy Creek River Park is partially open. You see, I've got a note at the bottom there. The peninsula will remain closed until a river access can be established and remediation has occurred there. If you remember, pre-Helene, we were getting that site as part of conversations between the French Broad River outfitters. There's a conservation easement there. And so that location is still fenced off. It is currently, that side is currently being used as a toll. And again, I'll explain what that is in a minute. And so once that is done being used, we're getting ready to put an RFQ out for the development of that site too. So Owen Park and Hominy River Parks right now are 2 priority river parks, or 2 priority parks that we're looking to move forward to get developed. So waterway debris cleanup began in February of 2025, right? And they're utilizing 6 out of 7 of our river parks as toll sites. So tolls are temporary offloading sites. And what that means is it's designated areas where the Army Corps of Engineers, and in our case, Ashbrit, who is their sub-consultant, are using these locations where they're removing debris out of the water, and they're staging that in those river parks and then removing it. I thought this was a very telling picture. This is a before and after of the Ledges River Park. You can see on the left-hand side what it used to look like. And post Helene, you can see where we're at now. And what that means basically is that all of this large equipment is in there removing debris from the rivers in and out of that location. They also remove the major debris that was in that location as well. Once those sites are done being used and the Army Corps of Engineers turn the parks back over to us, what they do is they do a site inspection, they do it with us. And if there's any major damage that's occurred as a result of them coming in and out, and when I say damage, I mean things like we have a fence up at Hominy River Park. They hit that fence, and so they'll replace that fence. In terms of the ground itself, it's been very difficult to assess the damage to the ground. There may be areas where they're doing some hydroseeding, but those are the types of things that I mean when I talk about doing the walkthrough. And then once it's turned over to us, we're gonna do some intermediary things because obviously if a place like this is turned over to us, we don't wanna just open it for use because the first big rain, like the rains we've been having, are just gonna make this continue to wash out. And so we need to do some intermediary remediation that's quick. Hydroseeding is one of the things that we're looking at. We're also working with partner organizations to talk about doing what's called live stakes. We're putting in live plants along the area to help stabilize the bank to prevent future washouts and erosion. So until we get that, I don't have a timing for river parks. I can tell you that that mission is scheduled to be done the end of June. But we've not had confirmation that that will be the last day of that. So I just wanted to show you kind of the river parks as a whole. These are all the different river parks. You can see no matter where you go in each river park, everything is really kind of sand and silt and dirt. And so it's gonna take us a little while to revegetate. We're gonna do our best to get these back, build back better, ensure that they don't keep losing ground. Alexander River Park down there to the right, it's kind of difficult to see. That park is closed partly because we've lost about 6 feet of the park. It's difficult to see from this. You can see on the left-hand side where the trees are leaning in, those trees used to be securely on ground. And so we've got to assess how we're gonna open this park or what opening this park now looks like. Glenbridge River Park is one of the ones that is very active right now. And we've got a lot of revegetation to do there. Bent Creek River Park, there's not been a lot of activity. I don't know for those folks either here or who may be watching. There's not been a lot of activity at Bent Creek recently, but that's because they cleared the initial area and they wait until they can close everything out because when we have rains like we've had now, there may be new debris that gets dislodged and then they need to reactivate this. And so we don't want to go in and start doing remediation until they fully have said they're not coming back. So just wanted to show some of these pictures so you can see. Any questions about river parks?
We have all the things like trailers and cars and trucks that pull down the river. You know, so
That's what they're working on right now.
working on that.
That's what they're currently working on. I will say for our locations, specifically we're in parks, I believe they have all been removed. But that doesn't mean that like a quarter of a mile up the river that those have all been.
Yeah, they have different contractors that work underneath Ashbridge, and they're all kind of working in different areas of the river. So like some of them are farther ahead, just depending on what equipment they use. Yeah.
Hard. So sports and fields park status, you'll see here Charles D. Owen and Carbon are our only 2 parks that are fully closed. All of the rest of our parks are either open or partially open. I'm going to go through these kind of fast and specific. Again, I've talked about Owen Park. I think we all recognize how damaged Swannanoa was affected by this. You can see here the before and after pictures, the 2 ponds that were originally at Owen Park were washed out. The Swannanoa River came into the park approximately 40 to 50 feet and washed out. We weren't sure what was going to happen as things kind of settled out, and it does appear that the river has fully split and is going on both sides. And so the RFQ that we put out will be for that engineering. We fully intend on doing a lot of engagement with the Swannanoa community. We'll be asking some of you all to come out and help represent as we go into community and talk about how they re-envision what this park could become. The county has been committed to rebuilding this as a park, but we want to work in community to see what are the amenities that are now needed here, what makes sense to go here, what makes sense to be replaced. And we'll do that through community engagement. We're in contract negotiations right now with an engineering firm to be able to move this forward. And so we'll be making sure that we're trying to work through all of that. You can see community engagement. We're looking at the fall and winter of this year. We hope to have our construction documents in 2026 in the spring. And then put out what's called an RFP or request for proposals, and that's where we can folks that say, okay, yeah, we can build it. And we anticipate that it is approximately an 18-month build out from that point of 2026. So if you do your math, you're looking at late 27 or early 28 before this park is actually built, which is one of the reasons that we have prioritized it and gotten it out as soon as we could in order to expedite as fast as we can. And so,
Want to add one thing?
yeah.
The RFQ is still out until the end of this month.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so anyone that's still put in for it has.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was thinking about it.
Yeah, it's good to kind of see what the proposal are of anything with Clover, or are we established where it's where.
I think that becomes some of the questions that we have, and when we go into community, talking to them about, it looks as though the river is here. Does it make sense for us to reestablish this as ponds or to accept that the river now goes here and communicate? We're going with that more. Yeah. Carpenter Soccer Fields is also one that was completely flooded. There was a large sinkhole that damaged the walking path that went around. That's that sinkhole on the right-hand side over there. We'll be looking for FEMA grants and general operating funds to help rebuild the soccer field and the walking path, remediate that sinkhole. Our timeline for this is 8 to 12 months from the point of funding. Like I said, right now, we're working with Owen and Hominy, and then this will be one of the next priority parks that we move on to. So Cane Creek Park is a multi-use sports field that's being used as a debris site. So this park was not adversely affected by the hurricane itself. However, it is the major debris location in the Cane Creek area. And you can see right there, that debris location, that is the field. And so what will happen is once the debris location is closed out, they will remove everything from that area and we'll need to remediate that field. We'll be working with the Army Corps in order to help work through some of the damages that were done there. Also some fencing. In the meantime, though, we're excited that the swimming pool is going to be open there. That park has the playground has been open this whole time. And so we'll wind up being, this will be another priority project that we move forward once the debris field has been. Collier Cove Nature Preserve is partially open. There were 2 landslides. There's 29 acres of this park that is here with about 2 miles of walking trail. About 1.5 miles, a little over 1.5 miles is open, with about the rest of the 0.5 mile still closed due to these landslides. And these landslides will take quite a while to rehab. And so what we've done is we have portioned those off so that this place still can be utilized. We heard from this community what a treasured place this is. We've also been working with FEMA. They took down the dangerous trees. The issue is that those trees were cut down, but like placed off of the trail. And so our concerns are fire hazards. So we're working through conversations about what we need to do to mitigate that and how we can get all of this now debris that could turn into tinder out of this location, to make it safer for in the future. Good news, Buncombe County pools will be open as per schedule Memorial Day weekend. All 5 of our county pools, which include Cane Creek, Hominy Valley, North Buncombe, Kerwin, and Owen pools, are set to be open. They'll be open 7 days a week. There's general hours of operation here. Last year, we heard that there was a need to extend some hours. And so at 3 of our locations, Cane Creek, Irwin, and Hominy, we've got extended hours till 7 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The city lost some of their pools. And so we fully expect that these pools are going to be highly utilized this summer. We're doing all we can to prepare for that. We're working with Swim Club Management, who manages the pools, and they let us know that all 5 pools are fully staffed. And so we're well on our way to getting our permits, which gives us our opening for the season. Lake Julian Park, another area that fortunately we were able to get this park open quickly on the front side. The back side was where the disc golf course is. There's boating, fishing, the shelters, playgrounds. Considering how large this park are, we were very fortunate. The front side, which is the side that comes off of Long Shoals Road and has the marina and the big playgrounds and fishing and such, had a lot of trees that came down, but they missed almost all the shelters. Minimal damage was done. It was really quite amazing. So we were very excited to get that open. All of the fencing around the marina, we've had 3 docks that were affected that we're going through the process to rebuild those docks, but the majority of the docks are open and being utilized. And so we're looking at this on the back side. The one dock that was back there was also affected. The adult rowing club has done a temporary fix to make it safe enough for it to be utilized, but we're going to be working to bring that new dock on. The big thing here was, so everyone may know that this used to be a cooling pond back in the day when Duke Power used this as a coal plant. They no longer use it for this purpose. And what has happened is that there was a dam that was there, and there's these boarded battings structures that hold the water up and help regulate the water. Well, during the hurricane, those broke, they collapsed. They actually did exactly what they were supposed to do. They broke and they kept the integrity of the dam. Now, Duke no longer needs this as a cooling pool, so this doesn't really matter to them. And we lost about 4 feet of water at Lake Julian. However, we met with Duke, their engineers, we went on a ride to show them the impacts of this, and Duke, wanting to be good neighbors to us at the lake here, has agreed that they will reinstall those boarded batting dams, even though they no longer serve their purpose, so that the lake can come back up to its size. So we're very excited and pleased with our work with them on this. Once they get that finished, they predict that will be done hopefully by the winter of this year. But then the water gets put back by the rain. So it's not like that goes up and all of a sudden it goes up. It's going to take a little while for the water to fill back up. But Lake Julian is open and working. The sports park, I don't want to take too much thunder from Joseph. I'll just again want to reiterate that we are moving forward with several projects that are there. I'll let Joseph get more in depth into that. These projects are moving forward because they were funded by the TDA and they were already previously budgeted. There's no new money or anything that is coming out of this. Sure that you've heard about the budgets and looking at that. The reason this project is moving forward is all the funding was already designated through the TDA. And so we're moving forward with that. We also have that ADA grant for the playground that you may have remembered Joseph got for us as well. So we're excited about it. Are there any questions? I took up a lot of time. That was a lot of information. Thank you. It's been a lot. Appreciate all the staff. I'm going to actually turn it over to Joseph to go through kind of updates on where projects are.
Yeah, so she kind of got a lot of that information out, so appreciate that. So the RFQ, like she touched on, is out for Owen Park right now. Once again, that's going to close May 30th, and then we go through a review process, and we'll select a designer after that process, and then do contract negotiations and whatnot, and then we'll start that process. Hominy River Park, we have an RFQ ready. We haven't put it out yet. We're gonna see what the environment is like for Owen first, probably get through that review process. And then put hopefully Harmony River Park RFQ out next month. So that RFQ will look at that peninsula. What we can do there, what the constraints are being, the conservation easements, stuff like that as well. And then to touch on Buncombe County Sports Park, kind of how she ended that. We're in contract negotiations right now for the design of the playgrounds, the ranger station and pavilion. We will hopefully have a contract, fingers crossed, by the end of next week. And then we will probably move forward on that and then start that design process. And then the turf project is chugging along, it's just waiting on one permit. And then the lighting plans get finalized, and then we'll be putting that out for an RFP, bidding it out for construction. And that will hopefully happen here soon, and we'll have a better schedule of what construction looks like. The netting replacement at 6 and 7 that was destroyed during the flood, that's complete now, so now those fields are able to be used for play again. So that's helped out with the soccer need that we have. We're kind of still just chugging along, knocking out these little repair projects, little things, even like the French Broad Greenway sign at Harmony that was destroyed. Got a quote to replace that today, and just a lot of little things that we're trying to find now. And then once we get those toll sites closed out, it will be a lot at once to try to repair and fix and get things going. Hydro seeding, we're trying to find out where we can do it right now and not be in the Army Corps' way. So we've done Lake Julian this Thursday. Lake Julian's actually gonna be closed from 8 until about lunchtime. And they're gonna hydro seed the whole park, pretty much everywhere it's bare. They've hit a few spots already, grass is coming in, but they're gonna get the spots they haven't been able to hit yet. Down at the Greenway at Harmony River Park, you can see all the grass coming in. The hydro seed did really well there, so we're pleased with that. Trying to get grass to grow where we can, so. And then once the total sites close out, we'll probably just be doing a lot of seeding and stuff like that, trying to get some vegetation back, so, but yeah, she touched on a lot of the big things, and yeah, that was kind of just my quick, things going on right now, but we, will be very busy, well, we're busy now, but we're gonna be very busy for the next few months. Especially when construction starts on the turf fields and then on the playgrounds, and then we're also gonna be doing the whole process of Owen Park, so that will be a lot going on. So.
Thank you, Joseph. I did forget to officially, let it be known that Thomas Bell, our principal park planner, has moved, he's gone back to be, closer to family in the Raleigh area at Holly Springs, so we desperately miss him, but we're very excited for his opportunity to move back closer to family. And he definitely sends his best to everyone. But what that means is that currently all of our projects are falling on the shoulders of Joseph. I'm doing my best to support him in that way. We do anticipate that that position will be advertised sometime in June with the hope of a start date the beginning of August. It's a process, as you can imagine, to also hire folks. We've got to advertise, go through the hiring process, and then on board something. So we're hoping that August will have another principal. Thanks, Joseph. Now programming and events update, Liz.
Awesome. So I think we mentioned at the last meeting, we had a busy spring and we are in the thick of it. To say the least, we had some really successful events in April, including our Earth Day at Lake Julian, a spring festival. Our 55 plus club started off slow, but is building speed, which has been great, as has our fishing club. Special Olympics, we just finished 2 weeks of spring games. We went from one event previously to 2 events. We increased our athletes by about 200, along with our volunteers. It was really successful. So we're looking forward to doing that again next year. And then we also have our bowling, gymnastics, and swim teams heading to summer games here at the end of the month. So We're excited for those athletes as well. Coming up, this weekend, we have another busy weekend. We have a fishing tournament at Lake Julian, youth fishing tournament. We're also doing a bike rodeo at Pisco View Apartments. We've been looking to bring some of our programming directly to communities. This is one of those examples. We also have a disc golf tournament, May 24th at Montgomery County Sports Park with WNCGA. We also recently did disc golf clinics for us this past weekend for youth, adult, and IBD clinics, which were all very successful. Moving into June, we have Swananoa Family Fest, which details will be coming out soon. That's being held at Gravemont Park, which is where we've been hosting our core band for the past couple months. And then we have our camp out the following weekend, and then we're gonna take a deep breath for a few weeks. But we do have the 4th of July fireworks coming up at Lake Julian as well.
Questions for Liz? I was just thinking, usually as, we have a period, if there's any questions or comments from the public, I don't know if anyone is online or if we have anyone here that have any questions or comments that they want to make in terms of recreation. Okay. If not, we go to other items. I know Liz and I have been talking with you all about the advisory board. I'm gonna turn it over to Liz to kind of get an update about where we are, because we are gonna get out of simply reporting. We're moving forward. We've got a bunch of vacancies. I'm gonna let Liz explain.
Yeah, so we've had 2 vacancies since I believe Coeur d'Alene. Is that accurate? I've started in August, so trying to wrap my head around. So we had 2 vacancies.
Yes.
And then we had Carol resign, so now we have 3 vacancies. The other piece we've been alerted to is Derek and Lena. It looks like your terms are also up. I will reach out to you. There is potential that we could get approval if you were interested in staying on, but it does appear that y'all's are coming up as well. So we have the potential for that's 5 openings. Lena and Derek, we'll touch base, but no matter what, we'd like y'all to come to the next meeting, of course, in July. And the next piece of that is reviewing applications. So we have been collecting applications over the last several months. And what we'd like to do is create a committee of Parks and Recreation staff and members of the board to review these applications, to then present those to the board of commissioners for approval. And so we would like at least 2 board members to volunteer for this, but more are welcome as well. We can do that, we can schedule a time to meet, to discuss, but also potentially could be some work on your own as well. So if you're interested in that, if you'd like to raise your hand or say.
Can you elaborate more on the time gonna be in person and or is it just
I think-
reviewing applications?
I think there'd be some potential for, so I'm gonna be finalizing the process, but it'd be similar to when we do an RFQ or RFP, where we will rate the applications and then discuss as well. So I think there'd be probably some time to do it at your house, right, send the applications out, then we also meet in person. Total time commitment, I'm saying 5 to 10 hours, that's probably a high estimate.
Could we also just do like a Zoom call or will we?
Yes, we can do a Zoom call. We wanna make a time that works for everybody, that could be 4 or 5 o'clock, after 5 o'clock. But hopefully would love to have y'all's insight as board members, into this process.
I'd be happy to.
Awesome. Great,
Another time, but it sounds like from your description.
great. And if anyone else is, interested in a later time, let me know. Once I have everything complete, I'll send it out to you, so you have the details and say, oh, that does work for me. I'll get that involved, get that to you. I think that's it for my other items.
So I guess now I'll just turn it over to advisory board members. Any questions that you have, anything that you know of that is coming up in community or you want to let folks know about, or any additional questions that you have for staff? This is your time. Yes, ma'am.
Any updates on the passive recreation?
No, thank you for mentioning it. I do not have a timeline for that. I know that it was being evaluated as part of the budget process. And so I think we'll hopefully have something for you in terms of where we are in July. But right now, I don't have any timeline for when that is coming back up online right now.
So nobody has said, okay, we're gonna take the remainder of this money and we're gonna use it here.
No, not yet. There's been no discussions on that.
Some projects that are already underway are gonna
Yeah.
have additional costs as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that still has been on hold, and my understanding is until July.
But some of those properties that were under consideration for purchase,
Potential.
or at least some of the projects that had applied for passive.
Great. Yeah, potential. Any other questions, things coming up? Yes, Lynn?
I have just one quick question,
Please.
in regard to the vacancies. Do you know which districts exactly you're looking for?
It's 1 and 2. Primarily, I was just reviewing
We
that.
have a map of this district, so we all know where they are.
Uh,
I forget, they're pretty big,
do you want to pull map up, Alex?
I always have a hard time getting to it, so ask question.
I'll send you a link.
Northwest. To. South.
But there is a very.
So I've got Ann in 3, Lena in 2, Derek in 3, Kevin in 1, Ingrid in 3, David in 3. So really, we're looking for, and Carol was in 1, so we're looking for primarily 1s and 2s, because if it were to stay, we potentially would have 3 3s. Between Ann, Ingrid, and David. This is correct in what I'm looking at, so.
Yeah, so much time do I have?
It's like 3 consecutive, we're considered 3 hours, but 3 consecutive 2.
I'm in 3, so I don't know.
Just give me read, the city of Asheville's district list.
I think it.
Well, Kent, yeah.
I mean, you're in Baldwin County, but like, if you correspond, if you pay city taxes, it's your resident.
County.
You just have it on the top of your head.
My wife ran for county clerk,
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
Districts pretty well.
Yeah, so this is 3.
And it's
So
recently
it-
a redistrict.
Yeah, so this should be more. Be what it is.
She's in a special election.
Are you gonna send that to her? I'd be curious as to.
And I'm gonna have to double check, my understanding is that there was a staggering of the terms at some point, and Adam Zinke, who's unable to be here today, has more of that information.
Okay.
I have, I have a 2026 next year in currently, but I don't have a month.
Okay,
Because
I think we started in.
Yes, it's something in my computer. I have the map up. You can take a look
Yeah,
at it
it-
afterwards. I don't know why it's not projecting. I have it up here, but basically, that area is kind of within, get out of there. To Bobby's point, the city of Asheville basically is District 3-ish. There's kind of some areas here we can look at.
it goes a little bit west, a little bit south.
And a little bit south, yeah, for sure.
it
And then
doesn't
you
go all
got
the way
District
west.
2 and District 1. I'm sorry that I can't project that.
You're doing a great job.
That's kind of what we're looking at, so.
So I'll send a follow-up email, if you do know folks who are interested, I'll send the link to apply. But again, it's currently District 1 and 2.
And I think,
Off the top of your head, how many applications you currently,
Not off the top of my head.
so like a little over.
we had a decent
We have a
amount.
decent amount.
Yeah, I know, we had double digits,
We-
whether that's 10, 11, or 12, I don't
That's-
know.
We did a first pool, we had like a few applications, so we did a
Yeah.
second push. And now I feel like we have enough where we can really go through that. And
Yeah.
some folks, so.
And I think one of the things that we'll wanna discuss, and I'm happy to take just a few minutes now if you want to as well. Because the whole purpose of the advisory board and where we're trying to move us to, right, is we're trying to move so that we're becoming action oriented and that you all are becoming the advocates for the Parks and Recreation Department. And that now more than ever, as we have all these projects, that you all are helping us prioritize these projects and moving these things forward. And so I think it's really important that we have an advisory board that has the breadth of recreation experience, right? So we have greenways, we have people that are interested in greenways, we have people that are interested in open space. We have people that are interested in active sports, soccer and baseball or basketball. We have people that are interested in outdoor recreation and kayaking and canoeing and bicycling. We've got things like disc golf. We've got like a ton of different recreational opportunities within our area. And so we want to make sure that we have folks that are kind of representative of a large swath. Like, we don't want an advisory board that is just everyone who's only interested in baseball. And you get a very lopsided thinking baseball is the only important thing. Knowing it's one of the important things, there's many. And so really thinking about the strengths that we have here and the interests and your areas of expertise and what you bring, and then what we are missing as a group to be representative of the whole Buncombe County. And I think that's really where we want to make sure that as we are kind of looking into new applications that we do. And so really maybe one of the things that we may need to do in the intermediary is kind of send something out. Maybe we do like even a 2-question things, just so that we can be sure that we know where y'all's strengths are and your personal interests. So then we can substitute what's being missed, if that makes sense. And then we can factor that in to our schedule as we're looking to bring people in. You know, like maybe we need someone who's a great fundraiser, or maybe one of you say at a table is like, I'm an amazing fundraiser, and you haven't tapped in me. Great, we can do that. Any other questions about that? Anything else for the good of the group?
Brought some flyers to share.
Tell us what you're sharing.
Yeah, so we are having, this is a park that's in the neighborhood that, go ahead, these out. That we've been developing over the last 4 years, and thanks to this board, we've got we got some grants that we were building as we go. So we're having an inauguration of the park and an unveiling of the James Vester Miller.
And what neighborhood is this in?
This, yeah, in my neighborhood, so right at the corner of North Louisiana Avenue and Kinmo Road. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's a great little piece of product. Y'all have done great, creating an asset for your community over there. That's fantastic. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
Yeah, well, thank you all for helping us in our process of building little by little.
For sure. For sure.
Congratulations. Thanks.
Anything else, any other things or happenings that you all are aware of? All right.
Yeah, were you like at one point talking about us doing a retreat in the summer? That's still.
Yeah, yes, it is, but now that we're gonna have so many vacancies, we wanna wait till some of those are filled.
Right.
The retreat, if you remember, the retreat was actually scheduled.
Yeah.
It was October. And so, yes, we have that scheduled, and we've been having conversations with so many vacancies, we feel like we need to get those vacancies filled. And then as soon as those are filled, that will be one of the priority things that we do, is we do a retreat and we'll outline kind of our goals. We'll have someone come in and help facilitate conversation on what the board is looking to do and can help us accomplish, and what the priorities are, and how they align with our strategic goal and our master. Appreciate that. Now I just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
All right, thank you all very much.